I care about people, that we all have health and opportunities, and the sky should be clean and blue, and the water and food free of poison. I don't like wars with private contractors fought for corporate, not American interests. I do not like monopolies, and I don't like the buying of influence that distorts our system of representation. I do like public funding of science and good institutions. Everyone should consider themselves a citizen, not a consumer. I protested Bush stealing the election in 2000. I borrowed a friend's car and drove it from Ohio to D.C. overnight through a blizzard, and went with Georgetown friends in the hope protesting could stop him from taking power. I protested the war in New York City. And in D.C., where a kid at Georgetown said he'd never be seen around a protest because they park helicopters and take photos of everyone and you go on a CIA list. But I said, to hell with that, I'm for freedom of assembly, and I went anyways.
On the 29th, at the Federal Building,
My voting record I've kept private, but I'll tell you now. I voted for Ralph Nader in Texas in 2000. I canvassed for and voted for John Kerry in Ohio. And I had to wait 8.5 hours to do so back in 2004. I voted for Barack Obama and went to his cold, beautiful inauguration, and I voted for him again in 2012.
We got rejected at the doors, and they said, thanks for coming, but we're full. I don't know how many people showed up, but it was, seemed like it was twice as many as the stadium had capacity.
As to what I've done personally to make this a better, more peaceful and verdant nation, sorry, I'm reading the essay, okay? Deal with it. I made a documentary film about the problems of southern Louisiana after and before Katrina made it a popular topic. And I've worked on farms, organic and not quite organic. I've studied permaculture and remade my backyard with a pond and a kitchen vegetable garden. I've bought solar panels, and I support my friend's nonprofit, Retreat, that plants trees. This jersey. This political cycle is especially defined by a he said, she said, divide and conquer. What happens when no one thinks is we devolve to more fractured conversations about things we're used to seeing in reality TV. A typical knee-jerk response I see on social media like Facebook. WikiLeaks released Hillary Clinton's lectures to banks, and I don't feel that comfortable supporting her after what I read. Think about the financial crisis and Occupy Wall Street, and then they'll add a post that has an article about that. Someone responds with no comment added, just with the post of their own, from Huffington Post or Washington Post or Salon or something, or just a picture with words in bold, something like, Russians seek to influence outcome of U.S. election. Another typical knee-jerk response from the other side, Donald Trump routinely offends women. And then we'll add a post showing how he's kept offending women. And then in a comment, Bill Clinton is way worse. Lock her up, lock her up. Here's a big picture, high road issue liberals can be pleased to see. We can try to think. For years, Dems have been the big tent party that was hard to get to vote on things as a bloc. Republicans were the monolith with disciplined rank and file, get behind the president. Donald Trump is single-handedly splitting that party into two factions, those who back him and the GOP establishment. Who are the establishment? They're the rich white guys, the pro-war lobbyists, the neocons. They're the Bush administration mafia. They're the enemy of liberals and Democrats. Normally we say the enemy of my enemy is my friend. No, today we have no attention span, a social media addiction. I'm not saying immediately, I'm not saying like befriend Donald Trump, I'm just saying let's keep looking at this, okay? Don't walk away. Today we have no attention span, I don't. A social media addiction, I do. We are getting emotional highs off of trauma, Game of Thrones, off of being outraged or offended. Please offend me. When our emotions are this easily toyed with, clear-minded thinking can be let go of. Okay. I want everyone to take out your smartphone. Now unlock it and look at your favorite app. Don't you feel better? You can put it away now. Hillary Clinton on issues and expected results is not honestly compared with Donald Trump directly. Clinton's political world equivalent is like a Newt Gingrich if he hadn't retired. A big deal in the 90s, still a presidential contender, plenty of stamina. What do Hillary Clinton's backers want? Like the dude said, it's like Lennon said, you just look for the person who benefits. And, you know, what would Newt Gingrich do for the people paying him for political influence? Or Jeb Bush? That doesn't work with Donald Trump. You compare Donald Trump, the billionaire, to the billionaires that back Hillary Clinton. Please be clear on that. An addiction to unsophisticated emotions means one uses the survival parts of the brain. I've studied neuroscience, the ANS, the autonomic nervous system. Let's see how badly we have it. Obstructions. Generally, man-made structures extending more than 200 feet above ground level. The median sea level elevation of the top obstacle will be shown in bold, and the AGL height will be shown in parentheses. Visual checkpoints. A flag symbol identifies prominent landmarks used for position reports to air traffic control. Controllers know these points by name and location. The name of the checkpoint is underlined. Pop quiz. Define obstructions. You don't remember that at all. Generally, man-made structures extending more than 200 feet above ground level. Yeah, well, our brains get brittle when we are ruled by our ANS. It's hard to sit still. It's hard to do things that are slow. If you watch TV, I don't know if my little book reading proved the point, but if you watch like old news, if you can find an old clip like from the 90s, it's strangely relaxing to me because I remember that time. But younger kids might not be able to do it. It's like everything's a lot slower, which if you're fidgety, if you're restless, like that just seems like too slow. But if you can kind of go back to that, it's comforting. It's like grandparent talk. It's like clear, relaxed.
Good evening, I'm Jim Lara in New York.
And I'm Judy Woodruff in Washington. We devote our entire program tonight to the decision to send troops to Somalia, beginning with extended excerpts from President Bush's address to the nation. Secretary of Defense Dick Cheney joins us to explain the military mission.
This operation is not open-ended. We will not stay one day longer than is absolutely necessary. And let me be very clear. Our mission is humanitarian.
Remember Bernie Sanders? Why do liberals play rollover so easily? Literally everyone in the world is screaming at Donald Trump. And to our continued and repeated astonishment, he doesn't ever apologize and he just keeps going. Almost no one was screaming at Bernie Sanders. Instead, there was back-channeling, and the Democratic Party implied that he was aiding and abetting Donald Trump by causing party divisiveness. So then we saw him in a back room of the convention telling his supporters to give up and to just back Hillary Clinton so we could focus on defeating Donald Trump.
Bernie Sanders and his campaign managers are refusing to give in to the bullying despite the Associated Press calling the nomination for Clinton prematurely. Voters are not sure where to look as tension is high among the Democratic Party, who wants to focus mostly on defeating Donald Trump. Politics are getting shady, with one top aide calling the premature Clinton declaration one of the most appalling things I've seen in a long time.
No question in my mind that Secretary Clinton is the winner.
Why did you give up so easily? Why so easy?